All right, so I'm here with Christy. We are in the open Zoom room, and she has a question that we agree that it needs recorded so it can be shared. Because if she has this question, probably many of you do. So her big question was, what the hell is Ayurveda? She said, what's that A word? This is vocabulary I don't know. And so let me see if I can explain this. It's a huge, huge science that is ancient. It's over 5,000 years old. It originated in India. It's considered the sister science to yoga and tantra. It is based on the elements that we all share: earth, water, fire, air, and space. And I spoke to a question on the Facebook group about can you take the greens more than one time a day? And Ayurveda uses these 5 elements to establish a typology that puts us in one of 3 categories. And these are strange words for newbies. So it's Pitta, Vata, and Kapha. And all that really means is that your constitutional type has a heavier weighting on a particular element. So Pitta is more fiery. And we know Pitta doshas. People that have a Pitta constitution have a lot more fire. They're laser focused. They're sharper. They have a tendency toward anger. I have a YouTube video on dosha, which if you're really interested in it, is fascinating. You could check it out. And I'll put that in a link. Kapha is more earth. And people with a Kapha constitution are more grounded. They have a tendency to be more sedentary, and their personality is generally much sweeter than, say, a Pitta's personality. It's just the way they are built. It's the way they are wired to be in this world. And then Vata has more air. And so a Vata is going to be light. Generally in their body, they're going to be light. They might be a little bit irregular in the proportions. They have a tendency to be a little more scattered and a little less grounded. So it's easier for them to be anxious and thrown off their game more rapidly. So that's a really quick, brief overview of what the constitutional types are. But knowing that, and I think there's a quiz in the manual you can look at and do. It's pretty brief. And if you have any questions about it, we can pop on here in the open Zoom rooms or on the Monday calls and just really determine what it is, where you are with that. But once you know your constitutional type, it's really easy to see where you're likely to get off of balance. And it informs us as to what is most beneficial for you. For example, a Pitta, somebody that has a lot of fire in their constitution, in the month of August, drinking alcoholic beverages and eating spicy food is going to be really a bad idea because it makes that fire go up exponentially. So what would be good for a Pitta in August would not be alcoholic beverages and spicy food. It would be more like watermelon and going out into nature under a canopy of trees to cool themselves off, having cooling, soothing foods, that kind of thing. The question in the Facebook group was, can I have more than the powdered greens more than one time of day? The powdered greens are more bitter, and bitter has more air in it, more of the quality of air. So it would be a bad idea for somebody with more air in their constitution, or if they're working with an imbalance or an abundance of air, to have more than one serving of these greens a day. But if somebody has too much earth in their constitution, maybe their Kapha dosha, the constitution that has a lot of earth in it, is out of balance and they have too much earth, having more bitter, more air can lighten that earth up. So it's really this fascinating Ayurveda is this fascinating way of keeping ourselves balanced physically, mentally, and emotionally. And once you start to get the concepts around Ayurveda, you can really work with a number of tools. The seasons, our food, what we think about, who we hang out with, how we live, our routine, all of that stuff can modify the amount of each one of the elements in our lives. So we can drill down and really figure out how we can balance ourselves. And that's one of the roles I play as an Ayurvedic counselor. I can help you identify those things that have you thrown off balance. Christy, you're on board here. And
so what you're saying, I want to ask you, I got questions, people. Pitta, Vata, and Kapha. So are you want to make those all closer to equal in who you are, correct? Is that like the goal?
That is a great question. Thank you for asking. That is not the goal. You are born.
But you say you wanted to balance it.
Well, let me explain it. You're born with a certain constitution that never changes. Okay. And so let's say, for example, you have a high amount of Pitta, which would be my guess. And then secondarily, maybe your equal Vata Kapha. So your tendency would be to throw Pitta out of balance over and over again. You like to go, you like fiery stuff. You're very laser focused, right? I'm guessing. I'd have to look at you more closely.
She's guessing right, people. She's guessing right.
I've been doing this a while. So your constitution is unique to you. There's nobody else on this planet that has the same mix of elements exactly like yours. Okay. Your job is to try to stay as close to that mix as possible. That's why a diet is not good for everybody. A diet, or you got to totally try this kombucha because it's going to help you. Kombucha is awesome, but it sucks for people with too much fire. So we need to know what our medicine is and what is our poison. And we know that through the lens of Ayurveda.